Coming up today on That LTD Life, I'm going to be trying out SwipeOne, a brand new lifetime deal that just hit AppSumo. It's part CRM, part email marketing, marketing automation. I'm going to show you all of the features in this video so you can decide if it's a good fit for your business. My name is Dave and I review lifetime deals every single day of the week. You can follow me at clientamp.com or get subscribed to this channel to keep up to date with all of the new tools that are available for your online business. Today's video is sponsored by AppSumo. I want to thank AppSumo for being a continued supporter of this channel. If you want to show them that you enjoy these videos, make sure you click on my link in the description before making any purchases. All right, onward to the SwipeOne deal page. Currently available for as low as just $59. That is a one-time payment. Really a steal of a deal when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. Email marketing and CRMs can each be 50, 100, thousands of dollars per month, depending on the size of the list or the number of seats you need with the tool. So to get in for as low as 59 bucks is a great deal. However, you should be aware that this is currently an AppSumo Plus exclusive, meaning you got to get signed up for AppSumo Plus in order to buy this, at least for the next 8 days. After that, or approximately 8 days, 7 days and 20 hours as of the recording of this video. After that, it will be available to the general public, but the price is going to increase. Now, two things to keep in mind here. AppSumo Plus members actually get a 10% discount even on these prices. So if you're going to buy, let's say tier 3, tier 4, you're going to save 30 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks on tier 5 as a Plus member. And here I got some spies inside of AppSumo. These are the price increases that you can expect after the general availability hits. It's going to go all the way up to 1,200 bucks for tier 5. So we'll get into more of the plans and pricing later on. But just keep in mind that if you're interested in this product, you make it through the end of the video and you're like, yeah, I want this. Well, you probably want to consider signing up for Plus as well. All right, let's do a quick overview of all of the features inside of SwipeOne. Then we'll dig down and get into some more detail. So starting off with the people section over here, this is your CRM. It connects up to Google Workspace or Gmail, so you can actually send off and receive emails right inside of the CRM. The interface is very minimal throughout this entire tool, which personally I like. So just as a real quick example here, I can click on one of their sample contacts. I can see all of the activity that we've had. I can see all of the emails. I could write an email right from here, and it's going to go through my Gmail account, which is what I connected up. Okay, more on the CRM in a little bit. Let's move on to workflows. Workflows are automations. So I can open up a demo workflow that I've got going here. I'll click edit. And just like most other automation builders, everything starts here with a trigger. This is a list of triggers that we have available. And then we can take actions based on those triggers. We'll go through some more detail of this, but just know that it works with a ton of different apps. In fact, that's a pretty good segue into the next section down here, which is the integrated apps. All of the main things that you're going to look for, like Shopify, WooCommerce, webhooks, which in my opinion is probably the most important one because you'll be able to use any app that supports webhooks. They're all available. You also get automation platforms like Zapier and a ton of other LTDs, such as Pabbly, which is a great lifetime deal. Then there's other lifetime deals you've seen on AppSumo, like Reune or Paperform. There's, let's see, we've got Zoho, Cal.com, Typeform, a lot of really good integrations. ChargeBee, another AppSumo LTD. So a lot of good integrations here. I think you'll have no problem getting data in and out of a tool like this, which is typically pretty high on my list of concerns, is like, can I get my contacts in? Can I get their activities? And it kind of seems like this will be no big deal. We got Swipe Pages here, another AppSumo LTD. So yeah, looking pretty nice. And if you were curious, yeah, this is the same founder who made Swipe Pages. So here is the LinkedIn profile, and you can see that they created Swipe Pages back in 2020, and their new product is SwipeOne. So same founder. Yeah, definitely the same team. So if you've been happy with Swipe Pages, you'll probably be happy with SwipeOne. Next up, we've got AI agents. This is something that's more unique to this tool. Agents is going to be a buzzword we hear a lot about in 2025. OpenAI's founder, Sam Altman, kind of declared 2025 as the year of AI agents, but it's really nice to see it built right into an LTD here. So what we can do is lead research. That's an AI agent. It can actually go into your CRM, look at the CRM contact, fill out more information about that contact, and then update the CRM. So really, really useful things here. I'm going to dig into the agents. We'll give you some demonstrations momentarily. Let's finish off this overview by looking at campaigns. Campaigns are more like newsletters or broadcasts. Let's say you're running a temporary sale and you want to message everybody on your list. You can do that with a campaign. I really like the builder here. It uses Lexical. That's the Meta or Facebook open source builder that, a kind of content editor that you see in a lot of LTDs these days. It's got a Notion-like interface. So you can type slash, and then you get a list of the different cards that are available. So I want to start off my email with a heading, add in an image, you can generate with AI, or just start typing your email. You can do that very, very easily using the Lexical editor. I'm not a huge fan of Meta personally, but I really dig the Lexical editor. So I really like it anytime I see it show up in a lifetime deal. There is mobile responsiveness here as well. We'll check into some more of these features momentarily as well, but here's what the email would look like on a mobile phone. Pretty good. Okay, so those are all of the major features that are included with SwipeOne. Now let's talk about the setup process. When you get onboarded with SwipeOne, they'll ask you some general questions about your business, like your URL and how many people are at your company. Let's go ahead and look at some of the settings that you're probably going to want to address even beyond that initial onboarding. To do this, you'll go into your workspace up here. Now, we can have multiple workspaces. If you want to use this for more than one business, like you're an agency helping clients, you can definitely do that. There are some AppSumo plans that provide more than one workspace. But for now, I'm just going to go under workspace settings, and let's check out some of the important settings here. First of all, we've got our team members. You can invite your team members. This is based on the plan that you choose from AppSumo. I'm on tier 2, so I get 5 total team members. I could invite another team member right here. There are some permissions. We have admin view, manager view, and sales and marketing specialist. And so there's, as you can read here, if you want to pause and read the different permissions that are available for each role, you can do so. Now, the next section down is email health. That's really cool that they've got this built right into the tool. Before you can actually get emails sent out, you will need to connect up your domain. You get a domain for every single workspace included in your plan. So I'm on tier 2, I get 2 workspaces. I can connect up a domain on each workspace. To do that, just go right down here where it says domain. You'll add in the domain right here, and then you're gonna get a list of CNAME records that you need to add to your DNS provider in order to actually authenticate and send off the emails with good deliverability. This is seemingly a bit of frustrating work up front, but believe me, it is going to benefit you in the long run. As you're sending off your marketing messages, you'll have a lot better chance of hitting the inbox. They also have some advanced records here. If you want to click on additional records for high availability, go ahead and add these in to make sure that you get even better results in terms of hitting the inbox. It says specifically they recommend adding them to ensure minimal latency during peak traffic. So to keep your account running as smoothly as possible, just add in a few more records here and you should be just fine. You're also going to want to connect up your Gmail account for sending via the CRM. That's done so in the profile section here, and then just go to Gmail account right here, and then go ahead and authorize like you normally do for any other Gmail connection where you get the little pop-up, you give it permission, enter your password, and then SwipeOne is going to be able to send emails in the CRM section just through your Gmail. To be clear here, if you're doing marketing messages like maybe the newsletter section I talked about, they call that campaigns. If you're sending out a campaign, that will go through their email service. But if you're sending off things through the CRM, that'll be more of like a one-to-one work mail scenario, and you want that to go through your Gmail. So you'll connect up multiple sending scenarios, and it will intelligently use the appropriate one depending on how the message is being sent. You can actually choose that inside of the automation. So we'll see all of this. As you can tell, it's a very well thought out tool. I'm quite impressed with this. You might also want to visit the general section over here and just set up your localization if it didn't get it quite right in the onboarding. It did fine with mine, but you can set up your currency, you can set your date format, and the fiscal start of your year. There's also a section down here to set up your brand color, so you can easily just paste in a hex code here. And this color is going to be used in your emails to make sure that you're on brand with, your call to actions and things like that. And then finally, you'll probably want to bring in your contacts before you really get up and running here. You can just export them as a Google Sheet, as a CSV file, go over to import and then choose new import, and you'll be able to easily add in all of your contacts to your CRM. All right, that's the setup process. Let's dig into the CRM and actually see how you can utilize this. The main CRM screen seems a little bit too minimalistic at first glance. And I do think there is some room to improve, maybe some different views here, where you could have something like a Kanban view. there's nothing like that right now, but there is a pretty good filtering system where once you get it set up, you might find that you don't really even need other views. All right, one step at a time. What we're looking at here is a row of a contact, right? So I've got name, email address, phone number, website, so on and so forth. You can customize all of these properties, these columns that you're seeing. They're called properties inside of SwipeOne by clicking on either edit view right here, and you can choose any of the pre-created fields that are available. So let's say, I don't know, I wanted to track MRR. I can click on this and it's simply added to my section over here. Now I don't have any data for that, so it's not very helpful to have displayed. I want to turn it off. I'll just go ahead and uncheck it. It updates in real time. Now, the problem is if you have a lot of properties that you want to view, well, you're going to be doing a lot of left to right scrolling, or you'll need an extremely wide monitor. Either of those might be okay with you, but you can go ahead and filter out specific segments of contacts. And so this might replace the need for something like a standalone Kanban view. It takes a little bit more setup time, but let me show you how it works. We've got some filters that they created for us. So I'm just going to toggle between them right now, and then I'll show you how to create them yourself. So right now we're looking at the all people filter. If I wanted to see only, let's say, happy customers, I can click right here and it's going to filter out all of the customers that don't fit some particular criteria. In this case, it's going to be the net promoter score, which I'm not currently displaying. So let me show it to you. I'll click on edit view, and here's the property net promoter score. I'll just toggle this on, and you'll see that these are all very high net promoter scores, 9, 8, 10, things like that. Now, if I click on this filter over to the left, it's going to show me the overall filters, basically whether they've left a positive review. Notice that there's tags here that include positive review, or they have a net promoter score greater than 7. So this filter is going to show me everybody who's left a review or has given us a positive net promoter score, making it very easy for me to find the contact that I'm looking for. Let's make a new filter here, and I'm thinking more in that sales pipeline Kanban style view is really what I want to get to. Like maybe I need to see my new leads. I want to be able to access them very quickly. Well, what I'm going to do is go ahead and clear all of these filters, and I'll go ahead and make a new one. So over on the left here, I'm going to add a filter, and I'll choose contact properties. Although I could choose activity, this would be things like opening an email or things like that. But what I want to do here is find a contact whose stage is new lead. So I'll do contact property. And then what I want to look for is status over here. I can just type that in, and I'll choose status is, and I want to choose new lead right here. Now, out of my 10 contacts, I only have one new lead. I can see it reflected in the results over to the right. But if I wanted to save this filter to be able to access it easily, down at the bottom, I can create a segment out of it. I'll call it new leads, save the segment, and now it shows up in my list. So I can very easily find people that are in a particular status in my sales pipeline. Okay, so that's how filters work. Now, how might you actually use the CRM on a day-to-day basis? Let's say you just want to find out some information about a particular contact. How does that work? Well, let's say you had a list of thousands of contacts. Now I only have 10 here, but you wanted to find someone quickly. There is search up here, which we can use via email or name. So I'm going to search for Ken. And here we go. I've got one contact that includes the name Ken, and I can click into that contact to see some more activity. Before I do that, I'm going to point out that all of the fields you see right here, I can click. Let's say I want to give Ken a phone call. I can easily copy his phone number by just clicking on the phone number field, and then there's a little copy icon that is displayed. Same thing goes with email. Now, I'm going to click into Ken's name here, and I'll see all of the recent activity that Ken has had with my company. So I can see when the contact was created, what country that he's from. He's been tagged as price sensitive, and recently he was unsubscribed. So I get all of the contact activity right here. I could also view the email correspondence we've had. Now, I've not actually emailed Ken, but if I did, it would show up in a list right here. I can send a new email by just clicking on compose. I get that same Lexical editor that I showed you earlier. Keep in mind that this email is going to come from the Gmail account that you connected during that setup process that I just went through briefly. We can add contact notes as well as contact tasks right here. I've just jumped over into another contact. Here is Vanessa from AppSumo because she already had some tasks assigned to her. I just thought I'd show you what these look like. So I've got one here, prepare a presentation for Thursday's meeting. This is a to-do task. It's not done. Once things are done, they'll move over there. But if I click into this, it's just got a brief little task list. It can be assigned to a contact. It can be given a due date, and you can set up a reminder to make sure you don't forget about it. There are no reoccurring tasks, and there's no fields here to add in more specific information. This is a very, very minimalistic to-do list. So just kind of meant for, one line, 2-3 word type of descriptions. Here's what it looks like if I mark something as done, and then it's going to show up over in the done section over here. Notes are very similar. I can create a new note right here. Just going to give me that lexical editor. So my note, I'll give it a title. And then as I move down to the next line, I can use the slash commands again, just like we did in the email builder, to go ahead and fill out my note on my contact with Vanessa. On the gear icon over here, we can change the text color, choose the font we want, set the font weight, so you can format your notes in a way that looks appealing to you. There are dedicated icons up here to send an email, add a note, or create a task for this contact as well. It might be nice to have a dedicated screen to tasks so you can see maybe in one central location all of the tasks that are assigned to you. That doesn't currently exist, but maybe that's something the developers could add in the future. That could be even something that's added to the filter section. Currently, you can filter by tasks that are created or tasks that have been deleted, but there's no way to filter by tasks that are currently open and assigned to you, which would be a really important thing to have. So that is the CRM functionality. I actually really like it. It's a different take on a CRM that's fresh and very easy to understand. I could see this being very appealing to people who have not spent years or decades in other third-party CRMs, and you just want to have a good way to manage your contacts that is something beyond the regular old contact manager that you might get on something like Gmail. All right, let's head over to workflows. Right over here, you see workflows. I'm going to create a brand new workflow. I'll give it a name and choose next. Every time we create a workflow, we've got to start off with a trigger. Our triggers could be entering a segment, leaving a segment, adding a tag, removing a tag, and then we've got things like date and time triggers, email activities. Let me show you what that is. So let's add in an email activity. That is our trigger. We click here to set up. The activity could be that they received an email, they opened an email, they clicked an email, or the email bounced. All right, I don't want to go with this trigger right now. So I'm just going to click on the triple dots here and choose delete. We've also got event triggers. These would typically be triggers based on custom events that you would define. So if you drag and drop this in here, it's going to be blank until you actually define a specific event. I'll remove this one as well. And then we've got email activity. Notice that this says Gmail. That's communicating to me that this is email activity inside of the CRM. They could probably relabel that to be more clear, like CRM activity, CRM email activity, something along those lines, because I would hope in the future they eventually grow to support more providers beyond just Gmail, but that is the current state. So the way this would work is you go ahead and click here to set up, and then the event that could cause the email activity to trigger would be that an email was received. So someone sends you a message, and then you can easily add them into one of your automations. This would be great for prospecting and sending messages to maybe colder contacts, and then easily adding them into your automations. Of course, you can also use your connected apps as triggers as well. So here are all of the different apps that can act as a trigger: Shopify, WooCommerce, ChargeBee, Stripe, Paddle, Slack, Calendly, and Cal.com. So someone books with you on Calendly, and then they're added to a drip sequence that goes out. Really smart stuff here, very simple to set up. Of course, after a trigger, you typically have an action. Before we get there, there is a condition section right here. So let's say someone sent me an email, that was the trigger, and now I want to filter them out before I quickly add them to any sort of drip sequence. Well, I can connect these two up, and then I'll set up my filter. Let's say I only want to send them to a certain sequence if their contact properties, let's say the status, it does not include maybe unqualified because I've already determined that they're not a good fit or something along those lines. You get the idea here. You could select multiple stages and you can choose any property you want. So after filtering out your contacts, at this point, you will need to actually use an action. Here are the different actions that are available. You can wait, you can update tags, you can send a marketing email, which is going to use their email sending provider. There's a limit on how many emails you can send, so you should be aware of that. We'll go over it in the plans and pricing. There's a notification email. This would go to you typically to let you know that something has happened. Let's pull these in. I'll show you the difference. So a marketing email is going to look like this, where we'll enter in the email name, the email type. I'll call this my email. And then under email type, we can send off simple emails, which are text, or rich emails, which are more designed, kind of think e-commerce type of emails would be rich emails. I'll go with simple, and then I can just write my message here. Now I'd want to choose my domain to send from. So let's say it's from clientamp.com. I can enter in my email address right here, create my message, and then it will be part of the automation. However, if I chose notification, I'll drop that one in side by side here, and I open this up. Let's click to set up. Now I'm not given the option of the type of message that I create. This is only going to come from the SwipeOne.com. And then typically you'd want to indicate, the other account users that need to be notified. So in this case, I'm the only person on the account. So that's the only option that's provided, but you could add in additional users here as well. You cannot add just any old email address here. It has to be someone who has a SwipeOne account, just to be totally transparent on that. Now, inside of the email editor, and this applies to both marketing emails as well as notification emails, there is an AI assistant. So we can just click right over here, describe the email that we want to write, and then it will do the job for us. So enter in a simple prompt, and it already knows a bit about your business because it's been trained on it when you initially set this up, and we'll talk about how that happens. There's also some additional AI context we can give it, but right now it's generating an email. It knows that my company is ClientAmp, so it uses that throughout the copy right here. Also knows that I review AppSumo deals a lot, so it included that in the copy as well. Okay, so that's marketing emails and notification emails. There's also sales emails, which are going to go through your CRM, your Gmail connection. So here it says your inbox. If you click on this, it's going to be a very similar interface. You just give it a title and then you're right into an editor. You get the same AI assistant, and you can toggle between mobile responsive views and all of that good stuff. The other actions we get are Slack notifications, A/B testing. That's only for particular tiers. I believe tier 2 and above on AppSumo. We get webhooks as well as ending the workflow. Now, it looks like they're going to add in a bunch of other features coming soon, which are pretty exciting to me, like AI agents and lead finders built right into the tool, but they don't exist yet, so I can't demonstrate them. So a moment ago, when I was demonstrating the AI writer, I mentioned that SwipeOne already knows about my business, and it mentioned AppSumo and the email that it wrote. So how did it know all of these things? Well, there's a few things to unpack here. First of all, I can set up what equates to essentially custom instructions on a per workflow basis right here where it says AI context. Now, to be clear, I did not set up anything for this particular workflow, but if I wanted to, I could set up the custom instructions about this workflow. What are the goals? What is the point of this workflow? What am I hoping to accomplish? That way it'll utilize it when it's creating new emails or you're using any other sort of AI assistance. I assume this will also come into play later on when they roll out some of these additional actions later on, like the AI agent feature and personalized emails, where it will use AI to actually write personalized emails right inside of an automation. That is kind of a mind-blowing feature if you unpack everything that it means. But if I did not use AI context to create that workflow, how did it know anything about my business? Well, for that, we're going to jump out of this screen. So I'll click exit. And next we'll go down to AI agents right here. I went through their onboarding experience right here, which is just basically a chat with an AI agent. So let's go ahead and open this up and I can show you the chat history of everything that happened. So I'm going to go up to the top and it's just like, hey, Dave, I'm the onboarding agent. Ask me some questions about our business. Ask me my role, our URLs for LinkedIn. I mentioned that we don't use LinkedIn, and I added in our button color so that it could use it to maintain our brand inside of the content it creates for us. Then it went out and it found out a ton of information about my business. It scraped the information and came back with this onboarding business report, which is actually extremely accurate, very impressive. This is where it's getting that foundational knowledge from inside of the workflow builder. So it knows our colors here, it knows our brand voice, the content that we make, the structure that we usually use, our target audience, the business model. All of this was done automatically for me. Really, really mind-blowing. After that, it did a user report for me specifically, knows about my background, knows about my content creation style, platform usage, that I don't use LinkedIn, and that I'm primarily focused on website content, even though I'm probably more focused on YouTube than website. Now, to be clear, at this point, I could have told it that my primary focus was really YouTube and not website. I just chose not to. In fact, it even asked me if I wanted to clarify anything or update anything in the reports that I generated. So overall, really, really impressive. But if you're curious, this is where that initial training data is coming from. You can always start a new conversation with the onboarding agent, even after you've already established your account. Just go ahead and start a new job. That's what they call a conversation with the agents here, and you can update any of that info. Some of the other agents are equally as interesting and powerful. Other ones maybe not so exciting to me personally, things like tweet writers or LinkedIn post writers. This could be very nice because it's got your company info to pull from, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't really want to write social media content inside of this tool personally. What is more exciting is things like the lead research tool or the personal sales email writer, where it can actually go into the CRM, grab info about the contact, update that info if necessary. Let me just show you an example here. Here's the lead research section. I went ahead and researched Vanessa, who was the first contact in the CRM. And so basically the way this works is it asks me for what contact I want to research. I pasted in her email address that came with the tool. And then it went out and found all this information. It looked up her contact info. Now, if we just go over to the people section here, you'll notice that Vanessa on her website, let me add in the website. Her website is listed as thefostergroup.com. I think that's just a placeholder email that they added in with their contact info. So when it tried to do the research inside of the AI agent, it kind of came up saying like, there's no info here about Vanessa. So in fact, it was smart enough to say that it says Vanessa is the managing director at the Foster Group, but it looks like she's actually from AppSumo. So it then took its own initiative to go to AppSumo and confirm that that was the case, and was like, hey, you should give me Vanessa's LinkedIn profile. That way I'll be able to complete her profile more completely. I provided the LinkedIn URL, and then it went out, scraped LinkedIn for Vanessa's profile, gave me a complete report on Vanessa, and asked me if I wanted to update her CRM record. Or I could just add all of that info as a note inside of the CRM. I also had it generate a lead qualification report on Vanessa based on what it knows about my company. And it did that really, really comprehensively, letting me know that Vanessa would be a good customer for ClientAmp. So I'm a believer AI agents are really going to change the way that we use software. I can imagine at some point, we're not even going to necessarily need these views of having a dedicated spreadsheet or even workflows. We'll be able to just talk to the agents and have it create the workflows for us. And maybe it'll show us an image of the overall flow, but man, it's not going to be long until our entire perception of what it's like to use software has changed completely. So for me, that's one of the most exciting parts about this tool, but we're not done yet. We've got campaigns to look at over here. Campaigns are basically like newsletters, broadcasts. I've already mentioned that. I've got one that I created here just as a placeholder. So here I've got my newsletter, my from name. I can send this to a particular segment. These are the filters that I created inside of the CRM. And then I give it a subject line, write my message, and I can schedule it to go out on a particular time. Notice that we do have the AI assistant over here. We can go ahead and send a test email or save it as a template. If you've got basically a layout that you want to utilize every week for your newsletter, you could easily do that. Once you're ready to send off your message, you just click right over here under schedule/send, and you can either send immediately or choose a date and time in the future. So that is SwipeOne. Let's dig into the plans and pricing here, and you can decide what plan is right for your business, if any. So under view plan details, $59 is a pretty good price, but it does leave out 4 important features in my opinion. Now, first of all, we do need to think about how many contacts we have, how many emails we want to send per month, as well as how much we want to utilize the AI. There are limitations for each of those. If you see yourself using the AI very heavily, you want to go higher. There is tier 5 up here, which gives you a whopping 20,000 credits per month. But maybe you don't care about the AI credits, but you do have 7 team members. Well, that's going to land you square on tier 3, regardless of how many contacts you have. As long as it's below 12,000, you'll need to get tier 3. Keep in mind, $299 for a tool like this for a team of 10 people is an absolute bargain, because something like Pipedrive is going to be $49 per month per user. So yeah, you can definitely do the math there. This is a very good deal. Okay, back to tier 1. Here are the 4 features that are not included if you get tier 1, but they are available on all of the other tiers. This is really the only thing other than usage-based limitations that you'll miss out on. A/B testing, so I think that's pretty important, but maybe you don't utilize it, and that's okay. Sales email sequences, so that would be like our workflows, right? We want those. Pipelines and deals, not included in tier 1. We definitely want that. And finally, remove SwipeOne branding from emails. Yeah, this one instantly pushes me to tier 2 and above, depending on your usage, how many contacts you have, 5,000, 12,000, 25,000, and tier 5, 100,000. So while I really wish that the terms for the $59 a month plan were better, to me right now, they're just kind of there to get you interested in the tool. You really should think of this as tier 2 and above. If you do that and you have $150 to spend, this is a very, very exciting tool. I think it is really well done. It's making me wish I spent a little bit more time on Swipe Pages when it was around. Is Swipe Pages as good as this? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. Overall, SwipeOne really appeals to my personal taste of a very minimal interface. I like the option to send text-based emails over just using the overly designed kind of e-commerce messages, although those are available if you prefer that as well. So I'm really impressed with SwipeOne. I'm gonna give this one an 8.6 out of 10. The only thing that would improve this tool is the few things that I've mentioned throughout the review. Things like having a dedicated task list would be great for the CRM, maybe a few other views like a Kanban view to see your sales pipeline. But yeah, overall, it's a very complete app that you could begin utilizing and saving a ton of money day one. Of course, I'd love to see support for other providers than Gmail as well. I gotta sneak that one in there. All right, it's time to wrap up this video. If you've got any questions about SwipeOne, hit me up in the comments down below or leave me a message for the algorithm. It is very much appreciated. Click my AppSumo link before making a purchase. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.